GUOYUE, or GUOYUE if you haven't heard of them, is a fighter brand created by Bigme to offer different looking products without confusing their already confusing lineup. Today's feature is the V6 Color. This has a Kaleido 3 screen, Google Play 7.8 inch, onboard audio, 2 sets of pogo pins, and well, basically every other feature you can imagine. Notorious for having every single feature, how does this trickle down into the device? Well, let's check it out. I know it's called GUOYUE, but I'm not gonna say that because 1, it's hard to say, 2, I don't speak Chinese so my accent's gonna be bad, and 3, GUOYUE is more internationally acceptable. Let's look at the build of the GUOYUE. Now, GUOYUE employs a different overall theme, build-wise, than Bigme. The back is this kind of midnight black. You get a graphite brushed aluminum almost around the side, and the front is black as well. And all Bigme products are the kind of this pale gray clay at the front, so this one does look different. You have some pogo pins on the side, some more pogo pins on this side for charging the dictation part of your pen. No, you don't need to charge the pen to use it. Up top you have speaker, and you have an SD card, and you have a power button with a fingerprint scan. You have microphones at the bottom with a hard reset and a USB-C cable. Yes, this is a flat flush screen and bezel. Let's look at the pen really quick. This is the same pen that they've been using for quite some time. This is the one basically with the laser pointer. You double tap the power button to turn that on. You can use this for dictation and page turns like that. The actual Wacom EMR is only about that big. The rest is just for kind of ergonomics and stuff like that. No, you don't have to charge this to actually use the Wacom part. We have to stress that. Now, the unit itself, let's dive in. This is the UI. We're not going to go through the whole rigmarole again because we've gone through GUOYUE and Bigme devices so many times. It's not even funny. Countless times. But we will say a few things. It does have Google Play, it does have OneNote, Kindle, App Manager, all your usuals, and you can install side-loaded apps, but you don't have to because Google Play has everything. If you swipe the top down, what do we have here? We have eink center global handwriting, which writes over the entire screen. You have warm light, cool light, we'll get into that a little bit later, and you have your volume. You have disable physical touch, you have home, speed up, etc. Eink center is where you're just gonna live and die by because this is the part that has all of your modes. This is HD 256, which has IMG 256 grayscale enhancement in it. You also have normal, extreme, and regal. You have vivid enhancement, which is part of the recommended because it does help color. Now you'll notice that the color doesn't look very good, and why that is not Bigme's fault, it's not Onyx's fault, it's not anyone's fault. You do have to use the glow light to some degree. You have to kind of mix it until you find where it looks good, because look, if you turn it off, it looks terrible. Look how gray that is compared to the white background we have. You have to find a little bit of a middle balance like that. Now you've matched the white, you've done a little bit of color correction, and now it looks good. Now it actually shows the colors, which is the whole point of this. So really, we're not going to look at books, we're not going to look at anything like that. We're going to look at note-taking and then some images, because that's really why you would grab this unit. Yes, it does books, yes it does manga, yes it does PDFs, and we've shown you guys that. If you look at the video cards that are rolling at the top of the screen and the end roll, you'll see that we've done a bunch of Bigme stuff. With Bigme and GUOYUE, you do have a ton of colors. You actually have 8, 8, 16 colors, you have line width, you can change your colors. Yes, greens work. There's a lot of concern that greens and yellows do or do not work on the devices. They absolutely do, and you have line thickness. You don't have to change the line thickness because you do have the ability to press on the screen and get different levels of pressure sensitivity. You have 5 different pens up top, and these will all change based on your settings when you have the brush sizes and etc. like that. The beauty about Kaleido 3 is that they don't blend, you know what I mean? So if you're looking to blend watercolors, get yourself a DES, which technically doesn't exist, but you can use Kaleido to make sure you have these very nice lines like this. If you find your screen getting too stainy, you can click the little Onyx copied floating ball and refresh everything. Then it looks primo. These screens are great, and they're actually using Kaleido 3, not Kaleido 2, as we said in the unboxing video. That's because they told us this was based off of the S6 Lite, which has K2. And although that's true, the GUOYUE actually implemented K3, even though it's based off of a device that has K2, but that's neither here nor there. You have OCR, you have insert, you have shapes. They have a lot of different things you can do. You can delete the page, you can share and export. I love this one because they make it super easy. For example, I've just drawn this. Well, I can share it with various things. I can create my own QR code, in which case I can send it to someone and say, hey, scan. You can do other share, which I really like. Other share basically goes through your entire device and picks out the apps that you have. So down here you'll see Bluetooth, OneNote, and Xmail. Well, if I downloaded Gmail, if I downloaded Microsoft Outlook, if I downloaded Facebook Messenger, I can now send this to anyone I want based off of those applications. WhatsApp, Line, Kakao Talk, anything. So they really do leave it to you to craft your own experience, so to speak. And you can change your toolbar by toggling it off and on if you want to get rid of it, because you may want a full-size canvas. You can encrypt it, you can rotate, and you can band slide. I don't know why they keep calling it that. iReader and iFlyTech and Hanvon, they always say band slide, but that basically means turn off the capacitive layer. So if you click that, you can no longer access anything with your fingertips except the sidebar. So you can go like that, and now you can slide it with your finger left and right, create new pages, what have you. You have undo and redo, and you have erase. Now, they never had an eraser on the back of their pens, although if you did draw on the screen, you can use other companies' erasers and erase with them. So it's not like it doesn't work based off of the UI. It's just that the pens they make never have erasers at the back, because they have this kind of all-in-one approach to making as many possible features fit in their device as possible. They have template as well, which is really nice. So you have recent, office, default, and local. These will all have your templates. You can add in your own templates, or you can use just basic kind of PDFs. If you go online and download PDFs, you can put them on there and just use them freely, because as long as you put a PDF on there, you just write over it. Like this schedule, for example. You're never interacting with the elements, although there are some, like the Fujitsu and Sony devices, where they do have interactable elements, but for the most part, yes, you can sideload in your own templates. Let's look at the colors now. Now, Kaleido 3 is Kaleido 3 is Kaleido 3, so the only things that are ever going to be different is the size of the screen and what manufacturers put things on top. So for the most part, this is going to be roughly the same experience as you've seen time and 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 time again, because Kaleido 3 is no longer new. Back in 2021, this was going crazy that we would even think of Kaleido 3 coming out, and then 2022 it did, and now 2023, and here we are with just tons of manufacturers, and I believe 9 units now that have K3. So, you know, the novelty is worn off. It looks good. I'm not trying to undersell it. I'm just saying it's no longer the hot ticket item. There's new things coming up all the time. But I must say, this is the only realistic color you can use to date. What I mean by that is you can't use Spectra, you can't use Gallery to any realistic degree, Prism's not up there. This is really the only true color device you can use. You might see it's really laggy. That's probably taking away from what I'm saying a lot, but what I mean is you do have the ability to go to normal mode or something, for example. Now you get that fluidity back, and you'll never get that on competing e-paper technologies, because you can't get that. It won't look as smooth as this. You won't have the options aside from Gallery 3, which only the Galley that we made actually can harness it. The Viva doesn't seem to be coming out anytime soon, and Sharp is still kind of dragging their feet. So Kaleido 3 is the base model of color. It's the one that everyone can use. It's the one you can buy, put it in something, and it works. And to a lesser extent, Kaleido 2, because there are still manufacturers that have items on the market like the InkPad Color 2 and the A5, A7 CC Hisense that are still running Kaleido 2, and the MobiScribe, for example. So there are still some manufacturers struggling to even adopt K3, but either way, this is the technology that will work for you. It does look the best with kind of any sort of realistic usable degree. And again, you can't watch videos on Gallery comfortably, but you can watch Netflix on this. You can watch Disney Plus. You can watch Hulu. It's a it's actually possible. If you're just getting into e-readers and e-notes, yes, you can watch videos. You go to Google Play, download whatever you want, sign into whatever you want, and start watching. Last thing we said we're going to look at is the glow light. Yes, the glow light is quite nice. You can make it very orange, or you can make it very blue with the sliders. This is all going to obviously look different based on what kind of light you're around. If you're around tungsten, fluorescent, incandescent, etc. Yes, this has audio. This does have the full package. Bigme never leaves anything out. They actually have everything. They got a freaking lightsaber on the pen. This thing can be used to wirelessly change pages and dictate into, and you have a fingerprint unlock, and you have an SD card, and some of their devices come with 4G. I mean, there's nothing really left you can put on these units. They have 4 microphones and 2 speakers. I mean, what else are you going to put? So that's the beauty about Bigme, and to a lesser extent GUOYUE, which is a little bit more of an economical brand if you look at their competing devices, like the Untitled Color line versus the GUOYUE line. The cameras are gone, etc. But that's neither here nor there. GUOYUE is a legitimate lineup of units that they have various screen sizes, and they offer their own little spin physically that sets them apart from the parent company. Kaleido 3 screen, fully loaded features, and Google Play on board makes this absolutely shine. However, there's cons to everything, and this thing isn't much different than other devices in their lineup. Construction-wise, it's the exact same UI, and has no real identifying standout features or characteristics to set it aside from everything else they make. Companies like Bigme and Onyx are hand in hand when it comes to confusing and convoluted lineups within the e-reader industry. However, that's both a good and bad thing, because that means there's something for everyone, regardless of taste. Thanks for watching.